gathered, so we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I want to welcome you, all of you, to the next installment of the Maximum Performance webinar series presented by the Maximum Acceleration Coaching Company and team. My name is Erik, Janeczko. I'm the head coach and CEO of Maximum Acceleration. The reason we launched this series back in the beginning of October of 2012 was to bring together a community of learning, people investing time and energy in the growth of our business, and to develop and bring to you high-quality material and content that's relevant to what you need to take your business to the next level. And by doing that, we've found that we've built a community of learning here that has become a motivating force in the industry, and hopefully you all are receiving tremendous value from this program. So we intend to continue this series and bring to you some of the power speakers that we've been able to bring to you in the past, and maybe even expand that a little bit in our capabilities. Today's program is focused on internet marketing, social media, maximum results in minimum time. And our guest speaker for today is Mr. Mark Madsen, who is the VP of Search Engine Marketing at Best Rate Referrals, one of the biggest online lead generation sources for the mortgage industry specifically. They are generating literally tens of thousands of leads a day for mortgage professionals across the industry with how they're developing their internet marketing strategies and how to drive traffic to your website and real leads, real buyers into your office for you to be able to help them with their mortgage needs. Mark and I have had the great opportunity to get to know each other and become friends over the previous couple of years that we've been working with Lowell & Toolbox Mortgage Market Guide faculty, and a big shout out to those folks at MSS. They've been a big friend to us as well. Mark, I continue to bring Mark back because, one, he does a great job of presenting wonderful information, but this guy has the proof in the pudding. This is the guy who's doing it day in and day out, the guy who's doing what you guys all want to do, which is generate internet media leads. So, Mark, I'm gonna turn this over to you and kind of let you take it and share everything you can with us in the next 40 minutes or so, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful program here.
Well, thank you for that intro, Erik. I wish I was generating tens of thousands of leads a day. We're doing that monthly. I'm at a few thousand leads a day, but I wanted to clarify that. But thank you. Yeah, we're working towards it. If I could hit 10,000 mortgage leads a day online, I'd be really happy with that.
We would be very, very happy, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention one thing. Mark and I have worked on today's program, and Mark asked me just before we started that we are going to do this a little differently than previous webinar series that we've done. We are going to be taking questions at each of the stepping points along the way of what Mark is going to be sharing with us. So make sure you keep your finger on the Q&A button and make sure you keep that window open so that as you come up with things that you have questions about at each stage of the program, please go ahead and post them into the Q&A, because we are going to address questions instead of waiting all the way to the end for Q&A. We're going to address questions in smaller segments based on the information that Mark's sharing with us throughout today's program. So please be active. Please give us all your questions. When you think of them, post them. We want to make sure that we're interacting with you guys and giving you the feedback and response in a more timely manner with today's program.
Perfect. Thanks, Erik. Yes, I'd like to make today a little bit more interactive. I am not able to stare at the question column. Otherwise, I'll completely lose track. I can only do one thing at a time. So Erik's going to be paying attention to that. He's going to stop me at appropriate times. And we're going to be going over some high-level strategies, but mainly basic things that I've been doing since 2004, ways that I've been using the web to get in front of buyers, build relationships with agents. Now, a lot has changed with the web over the past, since 2004. I mean, we've had Facebook, we've had MySpace. MySpace went away. We've had Google+, Twitter. But a lot of what I'm doing now to generate leads organically on the web is not much different than the way that we attacked the web in 2004 and 2005. So I'm going to share with you guys today one of my favorite ways of getting in front of those buyers on the web, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of the type of landing pages that I use, how my websites convert, what you can do with your own personal website, and basically take what I do at a higher level and apply that to you locally, and kind of flip the script. It'll give you a sense of empowerment to be able to work with agents and generate your own business versus having to rely on agents. So first question I always like to ask people is, what do you want to get out of the web? There's so many different ways to attack the web, and people expect everything out of it at first. Is it branding? Is it lead gen, simply just getting new prospects? Maybe it's recruiting. Maybe you're growing your branch or your company, and you like to expand into a couple of different states, or you'd like to have a local presence in every single city in that state. But either way, you want to get your name out there. Now, something to consider going forward over the next year, 2 years for sure, is the government regulations on us online. I mean, a lot of mortgage companies are cracking down on their originators, not allowing them to have Facebook, Google+, Twitter, their own personal blog. So you may want to pay attention to that as you're thinking about what you want out of the web, because you may not be able to have your own site. You may have to, instead of it being a branding objective, it may just be straight lead gen. Or maybe it is branding, and you have to be very cautious with how you approach the lead gen. So these are things to consider. So we're going to go over 4 steps here. And step 1, with regards to the web, is to identify a target audience. Basically, pick a niche. When people are online looking for information, they're looking for a subject matter expert. They're looking for somebody that they can trust, that knows everything about the topic that they're looking for information about. One of the big mistakes that mortgage professionals, real estate professionals as well, make with their websites or the way that they attack the web is they're too broad. Too many different things that they do. Real estate agents do it all, plus they're the local market expert. Yet if you're a buyer or a seller, you're just simply looking for somebody who can do short sales. And if somebody only has a half a page about short sale information, yet they call themselves a short sale expert, that seller's not going to pay too much attention to putting trust into them. Same thing with a loan originator. If you are a true HARP expert or FHA or VA, and you only have a little bit of information out there about whatever you're supposedly the expert in, it's going to be very difficult to win that business. So first thing is to pick a niche, identify that target audience, and understand really what they want. So somebody looking for a 203K rehab loan is not necessarily looking for a 203K loan. They're looking for a new carpet, new kitchen, new granite, a home at a reduced price. They want it all. VA, FHA, low down payment. So understanding really what your buyers, your borrowers want, having what's called buyer empathy. So that's simple. I think you get the point. Step 2, now that you know what your niche is to go to your target audience, is to go where the buyers are. Now here's what I've been doing since 04, maybe the end of 03, but since 04. I recognized that buyers were on real estate websites. And this was made extremely apparent to me in 07 when our market crashed. I was a Las Vegas loan officer. I was to every single closing, I answered the phone at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. I worked really hard to build relationships. But our market crashed here at the beginning of 2007, and all of my real estate agents disappeared. So all of that time and effort that I put into building those relationships was, in my opinion, wasted. I had one real estate agent, though. Him and I had been building sites together since 04, and he was the only one left standing. He had a nice website, and people found him on the web. And at that point, I recognized, man, if I just worry about getting found on the web and building equity in my online presence, and I will never have to worry about being friends with real estate agents or anybody else to generate business. Now, here's the thing with buyers versus borrowers. The reason why I like partnering with a real estate agent online and going after buyers is because a buyer is on a real estate site on average 4 to 6 months. I mean, they obsess over everything. Schools, school districts, market stats, anything. They look at properties. They're really, really interested in buying a home. And a lot of times they turn to the web first, not necessarily because they're interested in buying, but they need to talk themselves into it. So they'll spend a few weeks just on a real estate agent's website until they're ready to emotionally make that decision to buy. Compare that with a really high-traffic mortgage website. I run thousands of mortgage websites in every single city in the country, and we send a lot of traffic to these, so I've got really good analytics, and I work hard to get these guys to these mortgage sites, and if I can get somebody to stay on one of my mortgage sites for longer than 90 seconds total, I'm really happy. So buyers are on a site for 4 or 5 months. Borrowers are on a mortgage site for 90 seconds. So if you can put your content, your mortgage content, strategically wrapped around properties in front of buyers on a real estate agent's website, then you have the opportunity to not only generate new prospects, but then you go after that branding and that name recognition and all of that other stuff. So what I'm talking about today is a simple content strategy. The topic of this presentation is how to maximize your time on the web. If you were to build your own website, build your own blog, and you can do this, and spend a year putting daily content into it, working on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus to get the links out, to get people to come back to your site. You can even do a little pay-per-click advertising to drive traffic. It could take you a long time. However, if you go and find a high-traffic local real estate website, I can guarantee that those real estate agents are doing business, and you may only have to put maybe 10 to 15 articles total on their website to get a lot of value out of it for yourself. That's it, 10 to 15 articles. If you cannot write, you can hire somebody. There's plenty of mortgage writers out there, as opposed to trying to write a daily blog article on your own. So the strategy is very simple. Go find a local real estate agent who has a strong site, preferably one that has an IDX feed. That means that it's tied in directly to the local MLS, and then all those properties feed into that real estate site, so you can actually see them on the real estate site. And I'll show you a couple of examples about this in a minute. And then you're going to approach this real estate agent, and you're going to offer them an opportunity to have your content and for you to give them professionally written, unique content. The benefit to the agent is that your niche content about mortgages, whether it be FHA, VA, even HARP, if you find a real estate agent that specializes in short sales, your HARP content is fantastic for them because most of the people that can't qualify for HARP or just doesn't make sense, short sales is the next best option, so you can generate targeted leads and traffic. The value of you writing this content as a mortgage professional as opposed to a real estate agent is that you actually know what you're talking about, and you can target buyers who are further along in the sales cycle. If somebody is asking about down payment requirements, FICO score requirements, you get it, then they're ready to buy. If somebody is asking about just general city-level real estate, they're at the beginning of their research phase. So by you putting this type of higher-level content on a real estate site, you're going to find people that are further along. They can take them out and get them into a house, provided there's inventory in your town. We always have that issue to worry about now, but you can move them through that process much faster. And here's another benefit to the real estate agent. Your mortgage content will rank well, provided you are partnering with an agent that has a strong site. You get found in the search engines up at the top of Google, and you're driving more traffic. So you can give a real estate agent a couple of referrals that you work really hard to gain, or you can write 10 to 15 articles on their site that could very easily generate 200 to 400 registrations/leads for them in a year. And I don't know of any other way for this little of work to generate even 200 leads for an agent a year. They're not going to leave you. And best of all, they're actually going to read your stuff when you send it to them. So I'm going to stop here at step 3 for the content strategy really fast because I blew through that. And I'm going to see if there's any questions. Eric, do you have any questions about this? It seems like a fairly simple concept. Identify a niche, get on a real estate agent's website, published content. Am I missing anything here that I can clarify?
The one question that did come across that I've seen so far is, 10 to 15 articles that you can post. Can you give a sample of a couple of different topic areas or buzzword article titles, some of the stuff that you've used that seems to produce the best results? What are some of the articles that you typically tend to post on?
Okay. I would recommend picking a niche and having 4 or 5 articles specifically about FHA or VA or 203K. So you have your down payment requirements, your FICO score requirements, your cosigner, your loan level, loan limit pricing, loan limits, you get the point. Here's an example of one of the articles on a real estate agent's website. The number one question that buyers ask is, how much can I afford, when they're speaking with an agent. Now, if you put your mortgage content on a real estate agent's website, all of those borrowers who ask them questions, they can just refer them back into their personal website to get the answer right away, instead of having to send you a separate email and wait around, or telling them to go out onto another loan officer's website to look. So with regards to the content strategy, and that's a really good question, pick the niche first, because you want to be recognized on that real estate agent's website as the trusted authority for that particular niche. You are the subject matter expert. And you can come up with 4 or 5 articles about FHA or VA. I mean, open up the VA handbook and just look at the typical things that people look for. And I have a separate example in a minute that I'll show you about a specific niche website. But the other things that you can put on a real estate agent's website are all of those frequently asked questions. How much can I afford? What's the down payment requirements? Here's the other benefit. The loan officer right here.
By the way, Mark, which is where can I get help with? You could take that one step further. The down payment issue is, where can I get help finding down payment, or ways to offset or limit down payment requirements. And then you could get into articles about some of the FHA, unique things about FHA guidelines, USDA or VA guidelines that reduce the need for or make it easier for borrowers, stuff like gift, and go into more detail with some of those issues, how to make it easier for the buyer to come up with the necessary down payment.
And what not to do while you're in the pre-approval process. Don't go buy a car. Don't pay off your credit cards. There's 100 articles you can think of that would add value to not only the borrower but to your agent, so they don't lose the deal in the process. FHA is great. I mean, boomerang buyers right now, boomerang home buyers, somebody that is recently out of a short sale or a couple years out of a short sale, bankruptcy, foreclosure, they're looking to get back into the market. Those real estate agents want buyers just as much as we want borrowers. So any mortgage program specific content that would help encourage a buyer to buy, or that would attract new buyers, there's a lot of really good ideas that you can have fun with on this. And but at the end of the day, you get your name, a couple of links to your website, and your information's branded on this real estate agent's website.
So one other quick question that came about that's relevant here, Mark, just before we move on.
Sure.
There was a question posted here, how can you be sure that the agent's site is getting a lot of traffic?
Okay, that's a really good question. First thing that I would do is to type in your city plus homes for sale, or your city plus real estate. And then I would start drilling down to the community level. So in Vegas, it would be Summerlin Homes for Sale, Green Valley Homes for Sale. Buyers shop homes for sale, city homes for sale, community homes for sale on the web. They go to Google. So you're going to do the exact same thing. Now, the traffic, if you are on page 1 of Google for some of these major, what I call banner keyword phrases, the big ones, Las Vegas real estate or whatever, you can see anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000 unique visitors a month. Unique visitors, brand new visitors hitting your website, they're the real estate agent's website, 15,000 to 25,000 a month. Compare that with a mortgage site that's really strong, has a very strong local presence, make it 5,000 or 6,000. So I mean, already you're attracting several several times more. So go to Google and type those in. Now, the guys that are number 1 through 5 on Google, more than likely have got things pretty much dialed in. We have a local real estate site here, the one that I told you about earlier that I started building up since '04. And one of my good friends owns a real estate company. They have 33 agents full-time. All of their business comes from the web. Everything comes from organic placement on the web, 33 full-time real estate agents based on that traffic. And there is number 1 placement on Google for Las Vegas real estate. But most of that traffic comes through the IDX search. Excuse me. So the guys that are in the top 4 or 5 positions don't need you, probably won't want to talk to you. The guys that really want to speak with you are the real estate agents that are 7, 8, 9, 10 on Google, and then 11, 12, 13, 14. So they're just barely onto page 2 of Google. And they're working really, really hard to get back onto page 1 for their organic search rankings. One way to get higher placement in Google is to have frequent, relevant content that gets mentioned on the web. So you got these real estate agents that are working hard, writing articles, playing online marketing guru, probably doing a decent job with it, then still having to close transactions. So the challenge for them is coming up with daily content. They need you. They need your mortgage content. They need any content. As long as it'll drive traffic to their website, if they've got a really nice website that is designed for conversion, they know that traffic will convert. It's simple numbers. It's a percentage. X amount of traffic converts at such and such percent. A good mortgage site should convert at 15%. It means for every 100 unique visitors that hit that mortgage site, 15 of them should fill out an application. A landing page, a squeeze page, a call to action page should convert at anywhere from 28 to 33%. So if I send 100 people to a landing page, 33 should fill out an application. And a real estate agent that has their act together should understand these metrics as well. There aren't many of them, but there are a few in your market. And what they need out of you more than anything is content. I could probably pull in.
All right, so Mark, why don't you go ahead and go on with the next couple of sections of your program here, and then we'll get to another stopping point for Q&A. I think we hit most of the cool ones. I mean, there's a couple of questions that have come through, guys, that Mark actually addressed in the program. By the way, just as a general reference, this is being recorded, and as soon as my production team can actually get this stuff transcoded, rendered, processed, uploaded to a sharing site, and all that, which is about 6 to 8 man-hours of work behind the scenes that we have to do to be able to get this video out to you guys. Usually it takes us a couple of days to get that done, but usually by Friday at the latest, you'll have an automatic link to everybody who registered for today's program to be able to refer back to some of these questions. But Mark, why don't you go ahead and continue on with the next couple of steps of this process for us here, and let's go ahead and finish this out so we can get people going.
Okay. Let me point out one thing on the real estate site. An IDX feed looks like this. It just pulls in the listings from the local MLS. As long as the site has got this on it, you have a winning shot to put your mortgage content around it. Because all these properties, people find these as they're sitting in front of the home, and they're calling that real estate agent. So definitely look for an IDX feed.
Okay. And you'll notice it basically by looking at the homes for sale links or something that says something about find your property or something like that. It'll be a little bit different on everybody's website, but it'll be something about, Mr. Buyer, here's where you find a house. By the way, the one other thing that I want to make sure we crystallize here just before we move on, guys, the one thing that helps with this when it comes to content development and the kind of articles you want to write is put yourself in the shoes of the home buyer or the home shopper, if you will. What do they care about? What do they want? Go back to what it was like when you bought your first home and what were the questions you had, and generate content that answers that need. What's in it for them? What do they care about? That's how you want to connect through this sort of interface. Would you agree with that, Mark?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a question here from Leon. How receptive are real estate agents for partnering with loan officers to post information on their websites? Very receptive. You call them, though. Instead of saying, can we sit down and have coffee, let me tell you about how cool my programs are, or about the programs that can help your borrower, say, hey, you have a strong site. I've got really good content. I know the type of buyers you're going after. They're the same type of borrowers I'm going after. I'd like to publish a couple of pages of content on your site. It'll be beneficial for both of us. I'll send those pages over to you. You can publish them, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, and give it a shot just to see what happens. And you got nothing to lose. And the real estate agent will say, okay. I mean, if they understand the web, they may not turn you down. Now you've got your article published on their strong, high-traffic website. It's a foot in the door. Send them another one a week later. Hey, how did that work out for you? I got some calls. Hopefully you got some calls too, Mr. and Mrs. Agent. Okay, that worked out great. Do you have any more content for me? Sure I do. It's really that simple. It doesn't even require a sit-down. These agents are too busy to talk with us. And they're too busy to even care about our mortgage programs. They just want traffic to their website. So step 4 would be after you get your content on their site, the main question I get in this whole process is, okay, well, how do I get the business out of it? How am I going to get business out of it? Well, there's 2 ways. Number 1, there's 3 ways. Number 1, somebody's going to read your article on that real estate agent's website. They're going to call you directly. They're going to say, hey, I don't really like these real estate agents or know them, but I like what you had to say about VA or FHA or 203K. And I tend to trust you a little bit more, Mr. Loan Officer. Tell me about these agents that you're on that are on this site. Are they good or whatever? So they'll call you directly. The second way is that not only will the agents, but their real estate company and all the other agents that look at their website as a competitor, they'll all know who you are. You will get referrals out of it. It's just that simple. The third way you're going to get business is if you create your own killer landing page. So you cannot spam a real estate agent's website with links to go back to your site. I mean, the value to the agent is we're going to drive traffic to your site and keep that traffic on your site, on the real estate site, Mr. or Mrs. Agent. But there are ways for you to say, you know, click here to see if you are eligible for a HARP loan or for an FHA loan, at which point you would drive them back to what I call a squeeze page or landing page. This is a conversion page. It's designed specifically for somebody to create an action. And you present a very simple message. You always want to include a clickable phone number wherever you are on the web. If you have a website that has the phone number in the header, that's an image, people cannot click on that image from their iPhone and call you directly. So you need a clickable phone number, and you need it to be very easy to find. A squeeze page should have a, you just have to provide the value. They have to know exactly what they're going to get. There's trust icons or testimonials. The trust icons would be your different associations, your Better Business Bureau, anything like that. And I'm going to get into trust and authority in a second here. I'm not going to beat up the landing page too much. If you go to unbounce.com, everything you need to know about landing pages and squeeze pages is there. They have a free version. They have a paid version for like 20 bucks a year, 20 bucks a month, and they'll actually create a really well-converting, high-quality squeeze page for you. So you put your different mortgage videos, a couple of bullets about a particular program, drop that into Unbounce. They give you metrics. They'll tell you how many people came in, where they came from, where they bounced off, and what you can do to improve the conversions on that page. So if you just put a bunch of content on this real estate site about FHA loans, and somewhere, subtle, you say, click here to check to see if you're eligible for FHA, or click here to see what the down payment requirements are, and you send them to your squeeze page. That's all you need. You don't need your whole big blown crazy mortgage website to send them to. You just need a converting page. So that would be step 4. Pick a niche, where the buyers are, get on the real estate site, create good traffic, and then send them to some place that converts. So let me talk about websites. Let me move off of the real estate agent's website for a minute, and then I'm going to talk about building your own site or expanding on that squeeze page and just having your own niche site. Your website, period, should build trust and authority. And actually, everything you do on the web is about trust and authority. And that has different meanings depending on who you're speaking with. For branding, it means something different. For me, with what I do with search engine marketing, trying to get My website's to the top of Google organically and pay-per-click. Google is looking at my site to see whether or not I am the authoritative subject matter expert and if Google should trust me and provide Google's visitors with my site when they're looking for something. So it's all about trust and authority. Now here's an example of one of my higher converting websites, VA. And if you are creating a website locally for yourself, or if you're going to create a section within a real estate agent's website for yourself, here are a few things that you should pay attention to make sure your sites convert higher. And like I said, a site that's a niche site, a mortgage site, should convert at about 12 to 15% of your unique traffic. So for every 100 new visitors that hit your site, 12 to 15 of those people should fill out a short form, a contact form, or make a phone call. You do everything right. And then at that point, it's just about how do you get more traffic to the site, right? Well, you can write on more websites. You can write for the local newspaper. You can do whatever. But as long as you understand your site's converting at 12 to 15%, you just got to send traffic there. And traffic's easy. You can buy traffic. The first thing I would recommend with your site or landing page is, again, be niche specific, but also be geo-targeted. Somebody in Las Vegas is looking for a Las Vegas mortgage professional. They're looking for a Las Vegas VA loan expert. I know this because my analytics show me where the people are coming from Google, and they're always typing in local, city, state. They want somebody who's local. So when you send them to this local website, and it says up in the header area, we are local, we are your local VA expert, it helps to convert higher. Another thing is simple navigation. You want simple navigation. You want simple call to actions. A confused mind says no. So if you have too many different options for them on the website, they may back out of it really quick. They don't know everything about the mortgage process. They don't know everything about the program that you are an expert in. They're assuming you do. So if you give them everything to read up front or too many options up front, they may feel like they have to do all the work now, and they're really actually hiring you to do all the work and just give them a reason to trust you. And when somebody comes to your website, a borrower comes to your site, keep this in mind. They're looking for a reason to disqualify you, not hire you. I mean, they'll go through a lot of mortgage websites if they see something that gives them that warm and fuzzy, like, hey, I trust these people. These guys are speaking to me. Content. Content is really good. Relevant content about that particular niche. On my websites, on the home page, I like to use different tabs or toggles so I can vary a lot of content on a home page but still make it consumable. So in this particular example, where the red box is around, each one of those tabs drops down to, I don't know, maybe 500 or 600 words of content. But it just talks about the basics, where the benefits of a VA loan, eligibility, buying, refinancing. And a lot of times people will just look at the titles to decide, to get a feel for what they should know, what they don't know, and what's available. They're not going to read everything you write. Like I said, 90 seconds is the longest I can keep somebody on my site. And it may take them 30 seconds to fill out a form. So I just want to present the information, let them know that I have the ability to clearly articulate this complex mortgage process in a manner that they can understand and trust. And if I can get that far with them, they're filling out a form or making a phone call. It's that easy. Videos are always great. For those of you who are doing video, I would say keep it up. For those of you who do not do video, find somebody who is, or buy some videos, or find some videos on the web. The government puts out great videos too. But videos, what I like about videos with regards to converting on a website, they're a pattern stopper. So people may be looking at 4, 5, 6 websites in a row about a particular topic, then they see a video, it stops them, and they click on it. And just for a brief moment, I've stopped that pattern of them looking, clicking off, looking, clicking off, looking, clicking off. And one of the more important things on a website for conversion are what I call trust icons. And this also includes testimonials. The trust icons would be your Better Business Bureau, if your company's got any mentioned, if you're part of any associations. Again, you're trying to build trust here. And this is how you build trust on a website. You keep a very consistent message. You speak directly to the borrower's needs. And when you're building authority, if you've got this much content about a particular niche compared to your competitors locally who may only have 4 or 5 sentences or paragraphs about a particular niche, it's obvious that you're the one that the borrower can trust. And I would say this above all else when designing a website or a landing page, cut out the noise. Be very clear with your message. You do not need a bunch of icons or flashing objects or images. You may have a Facebook fan page on there. You may have a Twitter feed if it's appropriate and adds value to your client. But remember, every link that you put on your site that takes them somewhere else is a link that can take them somewhere else. And you want to keep people on your site. The longer they're on your site, the longer they'll convert. You might have an appropriate place within your site that says contact us, and that's where you can put your Facebook, whatever. I'm not a big fan of the Facebook, Twitter stuff unless you're actively using it and building a community there. But Facebook and Twitter should be to drive people to your site, not send them away. So that was a very detailed section, and I'm going to break for 1 second here and take a quick look at these messages. Eric, do you have anything that you've seen that has come in since I've been speaking?
Yes, definitely. There are 2 quick things. One of the questions is, and this actually is something that I've heard you say before, Mark, that pertains to this question. The question is specifically for unique, relevant content to be added daily. Does it have to be blog posts, or can it be things we find from the web that we can post on our Facebook business page that originate from someone else's site?
Okay. Posting stuff to Facebook, Twitter, or Google can be anybody else's stuff. You just have to say something intelligent about it. Posting something to your personal website has to be unique content. Now, the difference between an article, blog post, or page is simply in the manner that the technology allows you to hit that publish button. When you have like a WordPress blog, it'll organize content differently, whether it's a page versus post. But let's just look at sites, blog, whatever. It doesn't matter which technology you use to build it. Relevant content should be your own unique content. You can do you can grab bits and pieces of content from the web as long as you make mention of where those came from and give them a link out, and it does not look like you're blatantly stealing their content. Like you can have a weekly roundup and do a link to the top 10 local real estate websites or blog posts or nationally, and do a link and then a quick summary of what you thought about that and maybe take out a couple quotes. But considering that there's 300 questions you need to ask the borrower, and they need to ask you, and the agent, and the appraiser, in the entire process of buying a home from start to finish, you shouldn't have to worry about taking other people's content. There's plenty of content to write. Just hit every single frequently asked question you've ever been asked, and it should be golden right there.
Right. And actually, I want to reinforce that point as you answer that, Mark. One of the other questions that's related is it better to record your own video? If so, what content do you put in that video? And you tell me whether you agree or not, Mark, here, but one of the things I found to be most advantageous in this is think about what's the reason we call them frequently asked questions is because these are the questions we hear from borrowers all the time. I mean, what are the top 3 or 5 questions that you guys get asked by every VA buyer you talk to, or every 203K buyer you talk to, or every FHA first-time home buyer with limited funds for down payment? If you identify what each of those top, start with 1 or 2, guys, and then brainstorm more. I mean, stuff like what Mark mentioned a few minutes ago. How, what are the basic qualifying? How much house can I afford? Where can I get help coming up with more down payment? And then put together, just a quick, easy response. Your answer to that one question. Capture that video using a webcam or a flip camera or whatever you need to do, and get it on your site. Now, is that a strategy you would recommend to help get video content built, Mark?
Yes, and you don't necessarily have to put your face in front of that video. You can do a quick slideshow presentation, a GoToWebinar, or slideshare.net. Slideshare.net is a great place to go. You can put together 5 or 6 slides, speak into a microphone, have a couple of pictures, a couple of transitions, and boom, drop that video right in there above some content. When I write my content pages, wherever it may be, about whichever niche, I like to break it up. I like to have a quick highlight. Sometimes I'll put a video above it if I can. And then I put all of my frequently asked questions. Frequently asked questions are a great way to build a lot of content. And you can get these questions off of the web and just you got to rewrite them. You can't copy and paste. But, I mean, they're the same questions that everybody's been asking and is asking. So go out there and type into Google frequently asked questions for VA mortgages, and you'll find a ton. Grab those, rewrite them, and drop that section on a real estate agent's website.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, continue on because I think we've got just a couple of quick more things we want to share, and then there's a couple of questions in the Q&A that I think, Mark, you're going to cover here in just a couple of minutes, but let's keep right on pushing through.
This is actually the end. Last slide. And I've got a couple more questions I just saw come in. Here's the bottom line. Internet marketing is a team sport. It really is. You need your friends that are on Facebook and Google sending you traffic, talking about the great content you're writing. You need the other people who have got strong websites that have spent 4, 5, or 6 years building authority sites that Google trusts and is always indexing. Google goes and looks at those sites on a daily basis, and any new content or links that are on that site gives credit to. You also need the people that can help you out with video or press releases. So my recommendation right now, going forward with your web strategy, is not to think you got to do it all on your own. You can go and find a couple of really strong websites and put 5, 10, 15 articles on them. I would start with your local real estate agent because that's where your local buyers are. You can put content on other real estate agents' website if you're a national lender. There's a lot you can do there. So you definitely want to network and remember that internet marketing is a team sport. I think Brian just asked a question about referencing 10 to 15 articles to put on a real estate site, but you're also looking, I was talking about Google, looking at Google for unique content. How often does a new article need to be published to the real estate site? Do we stop at 10 to 15, or does it need to be ongoing? All right, so a top-ranking real estate site, one that is already doing well in the search engines, that already has a marketing and content strategy behind it that the real estate company is managing. You do not need to carry the weight of that site. You're simply going to supplement their content so that real estate agent can take a day off. And the reason why I said 10 to 15 articles, because that's about all you need to really beat up a niche. If you can write more, even better. I've got 70, 80, 90 pages. I just build the websites for these real estate companies now. That way I own it. And I'll put all my mortgage content in, and I've got content writers. But 10 to 15, you'll see a tremendous amount of value from in 1 year. 10 to 15 is very palatable. You can write 10 to 15 articles. You can write 10 articles. It doesn't take too much time. If you can't write, if you don't know how to write at all, which is fine, a lot of people can't, then you can hire somebody for not too much money to write those for you. And I would upload a few a week if you could. Get all of your content on that real estate agent's website as fast as possible. That's why it's working for you. I hope that answers your question, Brian. I've got hundreds of pages of content out there on a lot of different real estate sites, and it seems to be doing really well for us right now. But even when I only had 10 to 15, I was still getting a lot of business out of it.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to try and grab a couple of other quick questions here for
Sure.
our attendees audience here. Another one that came through is when you're able to post on the realtor site, how strongly do you insist that the article or the content attribute to you with your contact info? You know, when you post content on the site, how flexible are you with the agents about letting them essentially just use your content without crediting you.
You always get a credit. And keep in mind that you are in control, not the agent. They need you. You need them. They should give you credit. They should give you a bio line, a photo, your name, and at least one link to your website. And that's where it's nice to have that little landing page, that little squeeze page. Mark specializes in HARP refinances. HARP refinances would be linked to your HARP refinance squeeze page, or FHA would be linked. And you definitely need to get a bio. They have to attribute where the content came from if you're simply giving them free content, which some real estate agents may try, but the ones that ask for free content without giving you any attribution are not players on the web, and you shouldn't be wasting your time with them anyway. The ones that do understand the web, well, it won't even be a topic of conversation. They'll give you that credit.
Right. And I think a big part of that, guys, is to answer the question maybe a slightly different way, guys, is if they understand how traffic is generated, how to build search ranking, it's the cross-linking scoring that makes all the difference, right? So the way to sell it to the agents is say, look, you guys, if my article has a byline at the bottom that says, for more information, go to me.com, then that builds their search ranking, which is what they wanted in the first place. They want to get more traffic to their website. So helping them understand how linking to you builds their site traffic is the key to making that connection. All right. Well, guys, we've got a couple more seconds. There's a couple more questions coming in here. By the way, Mark, I want to thank you so much for being willing to open to, and I know I talked to Mark about this ahead of time. If you guys have any questions to want to take this conversation a little bit deeper, find out a little bit more about what Best Rate Referrals offers and how you can plug into some of the stuff they're doing and how they can help you do this on a deeper, faster, easier level, you're more than welcome to reach out to Mark at the information. And Mark, thank you for opening yourself to that opportunity here to be able to provide that kind of direct guidance. Just a couple of additional questions that we may have time for here, and then there's just some action plans and ideas and tools that I want to make sure that you get at the very end of today's program. But there's a couple of quick things. There was one more question I wanted to get into here. Maybe this is kind of compliance issues. How does this work with the compliance issues, Mark? What, if any, issues or concerns have you seen from companies, your clients, when it comes to putting your information on a realtor's website?
Compliance is a major issue, and you're going to have to get that stuff approved through your company. Now, if you're publishing content on a WordPress blog, which would be 99.9% of the sites that are out there ranking well, within the bio area, they'll give you a username and password. You have a bio area, and it automatically shows up at the bottom of the post. That's where you put one or two lines of Mark Madsen is a so-and-so. Here's my NMLS number, all of that. If the heat comes down, you simply go into that bio area and erase it, and you can disappear from the web very quickly. But I would do everything you do and participate on the web. Have an exit strategy. Make it easy for you to disappear from the web in 20 minutes or less. It's just the way that this is just the regulatory environment that we live in. Every company will have a different say-so, and some companies will say absolutely not. You cannot publish anything anywhere. Well, that's fine. Then don't put your name on it. But then you don't ask for that attribution. You just say, here you go, agent. I'm going to help you drive traffic to your website, and I'm hoping that you remember me, and when you get all these deals that I'm going to help you generate. And that stinks that that's what it comes down to, but it still works.
Right, and if you're limited in that case, guys, where your company isn't going to allow you to publish any content on the web that attributes you directly, then that is the one way to do it. And it's kind of set the expectation. Look, Mr. Agent, I'm going to give you the content. My company doesn't want my name attached to it. All I ask is that you remember me when the leads flow, because I would like to help those customers get through the process more efficiently. Okay,
well, you can have a squeeze page. You can have a squeeze page. You can keep your name off it. I mean, you're going to have to talk with your compliance department, but mortgage companies can buy leads. They're not allowed to generate them on their own by putting their name on the website. It doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, you can create your own lead generating website without your name on it and buy leads from yourself. There's one way to do it, too.
All right. Well, guys, there's a bunch more questions. There's one last question in here that asked for a resource on a good source for compliance information on all the new changes from Dodd-Frank and those kind of things. Really, probably, JR, the best recommendation I can make is reach out to your state and local associations, particularly Association of Mortgage Professionals, or NAM, the National Association of Mortgage Professionals. And the reason for that is because they have a lot of resources, particularly with the compliance issues, and they're getting a lot of good content out there for how to comply with a lot of the different issues. Also, I would look to, the old golden rule: he who has the gold rules in our business. Reach out to your lenders and your mortgage company. Most mortgage companies that are more than 20 or 30 people probably have a compliance consultant, or at least and the bigger they get, the more likely they have a compliance staff that you can reach out to for guidelines and guidance on how to deal with more technical issues. Just remember that the biggest element of this is internet marketing is advertising, and is therefore subject to all the rules and regulations, same as if you were putting something on a business card or publishing an ad in a local newspaper or magazine. If you're going to put, for example, when it comes to TIL and the rest of the disclosure requirements, if you're going to publish anything about any of the cost factors of a loan, you got to publish all the information to be able to calculate the payment and all those other things, including APR. And APR should be bigger than the interest rate quoted kind of stuff. Some of the content stuff that we're talking about here, though, is just, it really doesn't relate that much to some of the compliance areas. And there's a firewall there. That's what you've got to be careful about. But we definitely want to make sure that you're working in concert with your compliance officer, your compliance resources, as well as your lenders, if you're a smaller, more independent broker or mortgage banker firm, to get that kind of information on hand and make sure you're just dotting your I's and crossing your T's. The other element of that is record keeping and retention is a big part of this with some of the recent real estate regulation changes that took place about a year and a half ago. All right, guys, a couple of quick
Hey, Eric,
things
I can put together a PDF and a couple of resources for everybody who's interested in compliance, and have that out in about a week. So if anybody wants to make mention of that, you can send them. I've got so much stuff on that. We've got attorneys. We've got everything that goes through our websites, and I've got books on compliance. It's primarily what I do. Unfortunately, it's what I pay attention to most. So I can send out a bunch of resources for people.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you wouldn't mind. Mark, if you want to just put together a quick compendium, the 10 to 12 biggest issues, with internet marketing compliance or something like that, something that would be useful to you, that would be wonderful, and we'll make sure that especially members of this program, attendees to today's program, registrants to today's program, will be able to get access to that material. Okay, guys, you want to make sure you stick around to the end. I've got a couple of announcements about some upcoming events here that are going to be valuable to you in helping you grow your business. So bear with me for about 3 minutes, and then there's some action items at the very end of the program I want to make sure you stick around for here. Many of you are asking questions, and there's been a couple of questions in the Q&A about what this whole coaching thing is all about, what it can do for you in the growth of the business. And the simplest, easiest way is, guys, experience it. Best way we've found to help you understand the true value, because it's a complex and customized process for each individual. The best way to identify what the value could be in the growth of your business to you is to experience it. So we offer what's called a strategy session, which is a no-cost, no-obligation coaching session with one of our maximum acceleration coaches. We'll go deep on one particular issue or challenge that you want to get some traction on and make some progress on in your business. 2 ways to get access to that. One is go ahead and post a phone number and email address, the best way to reach you. There is a limited number of these sessions available each week because it's basically donated time by our coaches whose rosters are pretty close to full right now. We're running pretty close to maximum capacity. So there's only a handful of these sessions available. If you want to go ahead and make sure that you get one of yours scheduled right away, make sure you give us the best phone number and email address to contact you so we can get that scheduled with one of our coaching team. If you want to go ahead and post that into the Q&A section of this webinar platform, that's the fastest way to get that information. Second step would be to go to our mxlcoach.com/strategy website, and you can fill out the information we need to be able to go ahead and coordinate scheduling of one of these sessions for you. Live one-on-one session with one of our coaches, get some help on what you want to take progress on in your business. The second thing is we've got a couple of live events coming up. Myself, Mark Madsen, and the rest of the coaching team are going to be available and on hand to talk with you on a couple of different options for basically one great program, 2 different options for how to attend. The Maximum Growth Summit program is about a 5-hour hands-on mastermind tool building type of program where we're going to walk you through the 5 phases of transformational growth. As we walk you through that, we're going to help you develop an action plan for the next 12 months that will revolutionize the growth of your business. It will help you tackle and eliminate the obstacles and challenges that are getting you in the way and maximize the winning strategies to accelerate your growth. What are the things that are keeping you at where you're at in your business and getting in the way of you doubling, tripling, or quadrupling your business in 12 months? That live program is going to be offered both in Las Vegas in connection with Stephen Marshall's and Mortgage Executive Magazine's Mastermind 2013 program. We are going to be doing our Mastermind Maximum Growth Summit on the 7th from 8:30 to 1 o'clock at the Palms Hotel in Las Vegas. If you need tickets for that event, simply go to the Mastermind. Go to our website first, the mxlcoach.com/events. Register for our event. By the way, there's no cost or obligation. If you are a paid member, a paid attendee of the Mastermind 2013 program, you get access to our Growth Summit in addition, complimentary access on behalf of Stephen Marshall. Secondly, is once you register there, then go to the Mastermind 2013 website. And if you're still needing tickets for the Mastermind, we can get you access. There's actually a typo on the slide. It's $449 is what, if you type in the discount code acceleration on his shopping cart page, it'll drop that down to $449 per person to attend. If you're looking at bringing a group of 5 or more, give me a call directly, and we'll talk about even further discounts for larger groups. Another option for that same program, the Maximum Growth Summit program, is we are embedded into one of the breakout tracks at the Ultimate Mortgage Expo in Atlantic City, June 9th through 11th. So you've got basically 2 options here. One is Las Vegas, the 5th through the 7th. The other is Atlantic City, the 9th through the 11th. And to get more information about if you want to go to the East Coast, Atlantic City, New Jersey, on the 9th through the 11th, go to ultimatemortgageexpo.com and enter discount code MADISC. That will zero out the regular $295 registration price for the program. You'll be able to get free access to all the content and our program, as well as all the other great programs, including Greg Frost. Mark Madsen and his team are going to be there with Best Rate Referral and a lot of other great content, including the National Association of Mortgage, the National Association, NAM, the Mortgage Professionals Association president. Don Fromeyer is going to be speaking, a couple of other great compliance experts if you want more information on that track of learning. All right. So last thing, next week's session is the next installment is Realtor Roundup, top solutions for today's unique real estate challenges. We're going to be going deep with a couple of our Maximum Acceleration coaches who also have a tremendous amount of real estate experience, top-notch real estate realtors and real estate coaches are going to be joining me next week, Tuesday, for a program. I'll be watching for further information and registration later in the week on the mxlcoach.com/webinars page. All right. So, quick 3 minutes of upcoming information. Now, let's take it home. You've invested the time to join us on today's program. Don't leave the program without doing something to put these ideas and strategy in play. Don't waste the time. Ideas without implementation are worthless. Ideas without action are useless. So you've just invested an hour of your time to absorb something. Now do something with it. So here's what I want you to do. Here's a simple 4-step process for making something happen in your business and putting these ideas in play. One is decide one thing. What is the first step, the most valuable resource? I've already told you everybody on this call is going to have access to the recording of this program. You can come back later and pick up idea number 2, 3, 5, 10, 15. I know Mark threw a ton of information at you today. Pick the one first thing that you want to implement. Decide what it is that what was the most valuable idea you heard in this program. Secondly is decide what action do you need to take to make that a part of your daily business. What's the very next step to implement that idea? The third is by when are you going to have that action implemented? Make a specific target date for completion. Set a specific deadline for yourself that you can hold yourself accountable to. Block out the time in your calendar now before you do anything else, before you pick up the phone, before you answer the next email, before you check your voicemail. Put a date in your calendar, a time and date for doing this next action. And then if you really want the secret sauce of implementation, what it really takes to make behavioral change, it's accountability. 99 out of 100 times, it's the promise you make to somebody else that keeps you stuck to following through on the ideas. So decide somebody that you trust, that you respect, that you have a close enough connection with, that if you are interested in getting more, if you're really serious about implementing this idea, make a promise to them. Tell them what you're going to do and ask them to hold you accountable to doing it with a specific time frame. Now, who makes a good accountability partner? Anybody that you trust and respect enough that you're going to feel guilty if you don't follow through on that promise. Now, whether that is a spouse, whether that is a colleague, maybe some friendly internal competition within your company, in your office, maybe it's a mentor or a boss from a previous job, or a current supervisor, manager, or somebody that you respect, somebody that you trust, somebody that you know will stick to it and will actually follow up with you. Whoever that is, find that accountability partner. Now, if you need some help with accountability and you don't have anybody like that in your life, that's also a big part of what coaching involves. So if there's anything myself or any of the rest of the coaching team could do to help you with that accountability, please just go ahead and reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. That's what we're here to do, and support you in the growth of your business. Okay, guys. So with that in mind, we're coming right up on the heels of the end of the program here. Mark, I'm going to give you kind of one last opportunity here. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? Is there anything else you'd like to leave as a parting thought here?
You know what? I appreciate the time this morning, Eric. You did a great job, and I appreciate all the webinars. You've done 20. I didn't realize you've done 20 of these. That's amazing.
Yeah, we've been going basically weekly since October 2nd, with a minor break in there for a holiday and some stuff like that. But
that's
we're
a grueling schedule, man.
Forward. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Well, good for you.
I'll tell you, I appreciate that, Mark. Hey, guys, thank you again for attending. Thank you and I want to applaud all of you. I encourage you to applaud yourself. Put yourself, turn around, put your hand on your back, and give yourself a big pat for being the 1% that has chosen to invest your time in perfecting your craft. Because if you take these ideas and do something with them, I guarantee you they will improve your results and improve your business and your flow and everything else that you want to achieve in life. Just one little step at a time is all it really takes. So with that, guys, I'm going to be wrapping up here in just a couple of seconds. I'm going to be jumping off in just a couple of seconds as we close up today's program. Just one final comment or call here. If there's anybody who'd like help with one of those strategy sessions, or if you have any additional questions, I know there were a few questions we didn't get to today during the live program. I guarantee you our coaching team is going to be following up with those and getting those questions answered for you, making sure we get the word out and get that response to you, along with Mr. Madsen's help. He's already kind of agreed to help me with that. And that may be in connection with one of our coaches reaching out to Mark as a resource if there's stuff we can't answer directly. So, by the way, we're going to leave the platform open for about another 5 to 10 minutes here to make sure that two things happen. One, you've got plenty of time to get all your questions formulated and get those ideas into the website as you finish this final action step with today's program. Secondly is that if you are interested in getting access to one of those free strategy sessions, free coaching sessions with one of our expert coaching staff, go ahead and you're welcome to go ahead and post in that name and phone number so we can get our scheduling team on getting a hold of getting that coordinated for you. Okay, I'm not sure what happened exactly there. I had a little bit of glitch in the system, but anyway, okay. So, guys, if you want to go ahead and get the request for a strategy session posted, go ahead and just let us know in the Q&A. Tell us what you want, and go ahead and get that sucker posted in.
I just changed my email, Eric.
Oh, you are? Okay. What is the best email for you, Mark?
Well, the one that's spelled properly. I fixed it.
Okay, so the one that's on your screen, if you guys want information from Mr. Madsen directly, and Madsen at bestratereferrals.com. If there's anything that myself and the rest of the coaching team can do for you, if you'd like to take advantage of one of those free strategy sessions, just go ahead and post your name and phone number that we can reach out to you to get that scheduled. Again, just coordinating the variables of your schedule and our coaching schedule, just make sure you give us a phone number so our team can get a hold of you to get that session scheduled. Otherwise, guys, thanks for a wonderful program. Thank you for joining in today, and those of you listening on video, thank you again for investing the time. Take these ideas and do something with them so that you can purposefully make a difference in your business going forward.